What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be looking at some NHL trade rumors from Specters Hockey from January 23rd, 2019, which is today. I said I wanted to continue my daily NHL trade rumor videos, and we're coming up to the February 25th NHL trade deadline. So now is the time to get all these rumors out, and of course Specters Hockey is the best place to go for that because he puts together all the real sources and knowledgeable people in the industry into one place. The article's down below, but I always give my thoughts on it and we discuss them. So let's waste no more time. Let's get into some trade rumors, starting off with something from Sportsnet. Now, Michael Hode, I believe he is a writer for Sportsnet, basically talked about what a trade target would be for the Toronto Maple Leafs regarding defensemen. Now, I know a lot of people don't like when I continually talk about Leafs trade rumors, but this is just how I have to start this article because it's literally the first thing. He basically listed Colton Parayko, Alex Pietrangelo, Dougie Hamilton, Radko Gudas, and Chris Tanev as 5 targets for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, let me just say, Pietrangelo and Parayko should be off the board, as the Blues, I think, are still trying to make the playoffs. And I also feel like they're out of the Leafs' price range at this point. People don't want to hear that, but it makes too much sense for St. Louis to hold on to those pieces. Parayko especially, he's a young asset. And Pietrangelo, he's the captain. I think they'd rather keep him. He's still got another year on his contract. If they feel like they're into trouble next year, he could be a deadline asset for somebody, maybe even the Leafs next year. Who knows? When it comes to Dougie Hamilton first, again, a little bit pricey. Carolina has been said to want to get rid of him. I've heard a lot of backlash on my video talking about Dougie Hamilton, saying that he wouldn't be a good fit. So maybe he isn't the best fit. I don't know. Toronto's just looking for a big right-handed shot, and Hamilton seems to fit that bill. He could be too expensive. Radko Gudas and Chris Tanev seem to be the best options to me. I think Gudas provides, again, a right-handed shot, much like Tanev. Gudas is more physical than Tanev. As we know, Tanev is a little more injury-prone. But both of them have a good number when it comes to defensive style of hockey. Their shot suppression numbers should be pretty good. I know Tanev is. But Gudas just probably brings the more tougher mentality. Pretty good shot. Gudas has shown some signs of good offense as well. So has Tanev. So both of those options would be really good. I think for a perfect, ideal situation for the Leafs is, I don't know how much assets it would cost for both of them, but if the Leafs could land both of those guys, you're looking at a pretty solid defensive core that might actually be pretty dangerous if you pick up 2 pretty decent pieces for your blue line. So, basically, the next thing I want to talk about was from the Boston Herald. Now, again, I could be saying that incorrectly, but it's about the Boston Bruins. They might be looking at guys like Wayne Simmons, Brayden Schenn, Michael Ferland, or Mark Stone. If I was to give my thoughts on this, first of all, Wayne Simmons would be a perfect fit in Boston, and I don't think they'd have to give up too much for him. I think Boston could really use another guy like Simmons. I know they're already a physical threat. They agitate people, but Wayne Simmons would fit that bill. He can fight, he can hit, he can put up points, and he literally would fit the Boston Bruins type of play. I think that it's a match made in heaven. Again, I'm not sure how much Boston's willing to give up for a guy like Simmons, but he would be a perfect fit. Same thing with Brayden Schenn. Boston's got a good team, so their depth would be even better if you bring in a guy like Schenn who could probably give them some decent scoring, probably from the third line. Brayden Schenn's a good forward. We do know that. St. Louis, again, might be willing to hold on to him just to see where they're at with their team going into the playoffs. But again, a lot of things can change from now until February 25th. Teams can really change their mind. When it comes to Michael Ferland, we've heard that he may be on the chopping block. We heard Calgary might be interested in reuniting with him. That's also said in this rumor mill. But again, a guy like Ferland would be a perfect fit in Boston. Same thing with Mark Stone. That would be just firepower for them. Stone would put up a ton of points in that Boston lineup, much like any of these guys probably, but Stone would probably benefit the most points-wise. I think that Simmons could as well, but I really think Stone would be an awesome fit in Boston. It would probably cost them much more, but from what we've heard, Ottawa would like to hold on to Stone and hopefully re-sign him. We'll have to see what happens leading up to that February 25th trade deadline. The next thing is on an extension on Ferland, Brassard also, and Burakovsky. Obviously, Ferland from I was going to say Carolina, the Hurricanes, Carolina Hurricanes, Brassard from Pittsburgh, and Burakovsky from Washington. So Pierre LeBrun reports that the Pittsburgh Penguins have acquired inquire. Geez, I really wish I could speak English today. Michael Ferland, they've asked about him. Pittsburgh is obviously looking to just be right back in that Stanley Cup hunt. They're always going to be a good team when you've got guys like Crosby, Malkin, and Kessel and all the depth they have. You know, Letang on the back end. Murray seems to be better this year as well. DeSmith is a pretty solid backup option as well. So Ferland's an unrestricted free agent in July. So the Penguins would have to shed salary if they wanted to hold on to him maybe in the summer, or just because they need to shed salary coming up to the deadline. The Penguins would probably suggest moving Derek Brassard in that move. I don't know if the Hurricanes would be willing to do that. The Hurricanes will want a first-round pick for Ferland, but LeBrun wondered if they could acquire Brassard and then flip him to another club for a first-rounder. So he speculated that the Calgary Flames might also be looking at Ferland, like I said, who they ship to the Hurricanes in a multiplayer deal in the summer. So just some thoughts on this. Calgary getting Ferland, I can't see that. I'm not sure if that will happen. It would probably be on Calgary's best interest to not give up too many assets to reacquire him if it didn't work out, if they maybe didn't work out the first time. I know he was pretty decent in Calgary, but I think they're going to be going a different route. They might be looking at another goaltender. That's my option. I think Mike Smith is too much of a loose cannon for them to have on the bench in the playoffs, even though he does cost a lot and maybe he's a good locker room guy. But Derek Brassard, this whole Derek Brassard-Ferland thing, maybe with the Hurricanes and Penguins, I could see something like that happening. There's a lot of work that will go into it. It seems like Brassard's in trades that cause a lot of confusion. I know last year with the 3-team trade and everybody was confused. Brassard's got a lot of confusing stuff around trades involving him, so we'll have to see what happens there. But Brassard would be a good addition to any club. I think that Carolina, of course, is looking for scoring, so we'll have to see what happens there. But a lot of big names involved in some trade rumors lately. Again, from The Athletic, LeBrun speculated that Arizona, Vancouver, Colorado, and Dallas are among the teams that are looking at Andrei Burakovsky, 23 years old, from the Washington Capitals. He has 12 points in 43 games while I'm reading this article. Of course, you might be watching this at another date. Of course, I'm recording this on the 23rd, so there could be a completely different time you're watching this. So he has, like I said, 12 points, 43 games. He's been a healthy scratch 6 times this season, and his annual cap hit is $3 million. $3.25 million is his actual salary this season. He's slated to become a restricted free agent this year, so an RFA. And basically, LeBrun's colleague Sean Shapiro basically said the Stars and Capitals were scouting each other heavily, and Burakovsky might be an option for the Stars. Now, I was having a conversation with somebody outside of YouTube. I was actually at work, where I actually work, because I don't work on YouTube. I wish I did, but talking about how Dallas needs to acquire much more scoring, and this is a star-driven NHL league now, where if you can get a bunch of stars and then have good secondary scoring, you're probably going to be a contender. Now, it seems like that is just, an easy thing to throw around, but it actually is happening with a lot of teams this year. We've seen Boston do it in the past. Toronto's trying to do that now. Of course, they've got a lot of stars. They're working their out kinks with them. But Winnipeg, dominant star scoring, and they have a ton of depth. We've seen it with Washington in the playoffs. There's a ton of teams. Line them up. They all have all this depth. Like Calgary has proven that they can do that this year too. And that's the problem with a team like Colorado. They have a really good first line, but the scoring is just not there after that first line, or at least it's not good enough to be a contending team. So a team like Dallas needs to bring in more players. I think Burakovsky would make sense. He's young. He could get better. He probably won't cost them a ton of money because he's a restricted free agent. But I don't know. Arizona and Vancouver would be interesting. Colorado, like I just mentioned. Vancouver, I feel like, would have the most assets, if I'm being real here, to acquire him. I think that it would make sense for him to go there as well. A lot of teams here that it could make sense with, but we'll have to see what happens. The Oilers could be involved in some trade stuff too, but I'll see you guys tomorrow with more trade rumors. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching another trade rumors video. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more NHL trade rumors from Specters Hockey. Peace.